What is up, everybody? Hope we're all doing well. Welcome back to a very special episode of CS News. Every time I make a video, new roster changes come out by the time that video is uploaded, so you're welcome. By the time you see this, some other big breaking stuff is going to be happening, and the big one that broke yesterday is all around G2 finally benching Hooxi from their roster. An emotional goodbye that was long awaited by a lot of people out there, and if you guys don't know Hooxi, well, the Hooxi hate was unwarranted, and there was plenty of it, and nothing but the best of luck to this guy in the future, and I've always stood on that. But as they do let him go and, of course, change their roster, we've talked a lot about G2 potential rosters out there, now adding Malbs to the roster, what's happening with Nexa, and now with Hooxi being gone as well, and with the rumors of Falcons still offering Poiii and NiKo, but likely they are to stay, this G2 roster continues to keep all eyes on them, and it was a sad goodbye to Hooxi. He will be missed, and I'm sure he will find a team in the future, as a lot of community members had a lot of nice things to say. With Pekka saying, without much recognition and facing much criticism from the community, you led us through the good and the bad to lift the 3 big trophies. Your sleepless nights, hard work, dedication, and resilience were unmatched. And Banks noting, I'm sad for Hooxi, but it's no surprise with his individual levels shown. I think he proved himself capable of leading at the top. He was criticized sometimes fairly, sometimes unfairly, and also delivered some big trophies while under huge personal stress. He can always be proud of those huge trophies he took for G2. And Hooxi with his final statement on it, saying it's been one heck of a ride the past 2 years, and at the end we ticked off a few big boxes in the bucket list. I will forever be grateful for the chance I got to prove myself. It was given and gotten me through the best and worst times of my life so far, both IRL and in-game. The biggest virtual hug and thank you to the G2 army. Despite how toxic this community can be, you guys kept my spirits up a lot of times. And it is without a doubt, when it comes to a lot of players out there, like Hooxi faced more heat, flack, and criticism, again, sometimes justified, but more so than a lot of other pro players out there have to deal with, and that mental stress and strain is something that we can only try and speak to. It's got to be difficult, so nothing but the best of luck for this guy in the future, and where he will go, we await and see. ITB also having their little teases on there. I don't know, guys, but another big question out there being who will IGL this new G2 roster, and to see what it does become, as there has been teases around NiKo time and time again. Will he take the reins of this roster? Even calling for a Twitter vote about this. Poiii also replying, and if you guys remember, when Stewie had his interview a while back talking about IEM Dallas, he also talked promptly about NiKo taking the reins and calling nearly 100% of the time. That was something he talked at length about with Maui when that interview first came out.
Okay, so with the calling in Dallas, how much? Who was saying what percentage? Who's saying what? How much?
Oh, it's probably 100% NiKo. I'm not saying that he didn't call. He definitely did call, but a lot of I've been out for so long that I kind of just let them do their thing, but it kind of seemed the same. His calls were very simple. It was very more together, more kind of puggy, but at the same time less strategical side of things. But a lot of it was NiKo. I think at one point, I mean, I've been playing against him for so long that at some point, I already knew that our natural styles kind of complemented each other in general. But yeah, I felt like we complemented each other naturally already.
And it's something G2 does so well. They always keep eyes on them on this roster. Even when they bench a player, they keep speculation elsewhere for a role change or, whatever a different player is going to do. And also just adding a new guy. I mean, obviously it's roster shuffle season, but they do a great job of keeping themselves in the limelight out there. Another guy doing just that, we got Nitro, who apparently has now parted ways officially with M80 as expected. There are other rumors out there about where Nitro could be. IGL, the expected role he will take up, no surprises there, and maybe NRG. Maybe having a little piece of Nitro in the future, now officially parting ways with M80. Another great one brought to you by Dust2, as they also say M80 is going to be targeting Lake for a permanent or temporary replacement for Malbs, who just went over to G2. So M80, they take that G2 money, maybe they test out a few new players, maybe at least one new player, they test out someone like Lake, and that will be actually for the Esports World Cup, which, ironically, that's where I'm at right now. I wish we were coming for CS Week. It's going to be lit, and they're going to see a lot of new rosters also partaking, and so we'll see if M80 find a permanent member in Lake. And a big talking point going around there, really curious what you guys think about this one. Old people, can they actually play Counter-Strike? Specifically talking about the OGs of the Counter-Strike scene and some of the best all time, all right? You will never hear me taken away from the guys like f0rest and f0rest, who, yes, we're talking about right now, as f0rest has now gone viral. Another great one by HLTV, as he kind of talks about his run at a major in CS and will it ever happen, kind of hinting at the fact that it's going to be very difficult. If you guys don't remember, f0rest is now 36 years old, and even being 34, 35 by the time he kind of took a little step away from the tier 1 CS we were used to, that's incredibly old for esports. So to have him talk like this has a lot of people very sad. And will we ever see him come back and return to that level, or at least to tier 1? That is the question. As he did state that it looks difficult when he was asked about his comments in previous interviews, my ambition then was that I wanted to play a major. Does it look like that's going to happen? Probably not, but I have to think about it, and then you have to close the door completely. And I hope it's not completely shut, and it never fully is. You never know, all right? Last time we talked about someone like Guardian coming out of a 2-year retirement, now building a roster because, a team like BC has money. So I hope it's not the end for someone like f0rest. Will we ever see him in a CS major again? What do you guys think? And speaking of the devil, teams that someone like Cooper didn't even know were around still, TSM, they do still have esports rosters. I believe one over in Apex, although they lost Imperial How recently. And then, of course, now they have their CS roster, their brand new CS2 roster. They're currently not even in League of Legends. They're still searching for a league there. So a lot of question marks around this organization, and rightfully so. As they announced, though, I would say a pretty freaking exciting all-Danish roster, okay? As they pick up little NiKo, and I don't mean little NiKo to be rude compared to the other NiKo, but I've always called him little NiKo because of the capitalization of their names. Over from 0-0 comes NiKo, and they also have someone like f0rest from Gamer Legion, which is very exciting to me. And Altex will round out this roster. He was the former young talent. He was on the Astralis up-and-coming roster, the talent roster, the academy roster they have. So another young Dane to round out this all-Danish roster, which, hey, when it comes to TSM, a lot of people like to have their doubts, especially in the Counter-Strike scene. Recently had a few fumbles, a lot of changes. And now this, though, I feel like when it comes to CS, you always got to give an all-Danish roster at least a chance on the server. I love the f0rest signing from Gamer Legion. Last time I saw him live was at the last CSGO Major. Nice little run they had there. So we'll see. We'll see. And it does excite me, actually. Now, would I rather have TSM have a North American core? You betcha. But that's just the lay of the land. So best of luck to this TSM roster. What do you guys think? Is it good enough? Very lastly, for all of you guys, we have another young up-and-comer and / prodigy, some might say, now being signed to JW's team over there at Eyeballers. This is going to be young Poiii, who is just 17 years old and now becomes this organization's youngest signing ever to date. And again, just a teenager, which, is not strikingly young for Counter-Strike when you're talking about the Frozens and the Munasees who came up at 13 years old, but still, he's 17. He has a lot of eyes on him and a lot of promising talent over there, and so we'll see if Eyeballers can put some more eyes on a guy like Poiii, and he was obviously very excited, and it's always cool to see these young up-and-coming talent, especially when they first get a little bite at a scene like this, how they do perform. So we await and see that one. But as per usual, I hope you guys enjoy this episode of CS News. We are here all week, so the episodes will probably be a little bit slow, but you do get a new change of scenery. So I hope you guys all enjoy. Till next time, take care of yourselves, and we'll see you back here sometime soon. Bye-bye.